Draw your sword!
Doth thou challenge me?
Viewing Baz Lurhman's 1996 film Romeo and Juliet, or Romeo+Juliet, depending on how you want to, read the title.
Yeah. It stars Leonardo DiCaprio as Romeo, Claire Danes as Juliet, John Leguizamo in an entertaining performance as Tybalt, and Harold Perrineau as Mercutio, another entertaining one.
And of course, the never-aging Paul Rudd.
I mean, the movie's pretty good, actually, but we're going to get into that. But first, let's describe the plot. It's a modern-day adaptation of, well, William Shakespeare's classic play, but set in the modern day. But, so, if you don't know what that play is, even though you probably should...
It's 400 years old. If you haven't seen it by now, you're...
Or read it.
Or
seen, like, the Mario show parody of it.
Or, like, any adaptation that's been out since the book's play has been released 400 years ago, about.
So basically, it's about Romeo and Juliet, who are meeting two kids in warring feuding families that, well, they fall in love, but they can't be together, so bad stuff happens and they die. Which, dear viewer, this is not a spoiler, because you're literally told in the beginning of the play that's what happens, and even in the beginning of the movie you're told that's what happens.
Yeah, so it's not, of course, it's been around for 400 years, or 400 however many, or God knows how long. It's common sense by now, and I think we should just get to the movie now.
Yeah. So basically the movie well, actually let's not do a full thing about this, but let's just do the best parts.
Yeah, the beginning, I swear...
The modernization kicks in hard.
Yeah, it's like very fast-paced, adding quick cuts. Baz Luhrmann does it tastefully, but also a bit jarring if you've never viewed any of his movies, or if you're just not used to that in film.
Baz Luhrmann edits like Sam Raimi.
Which is like very quick-paced, and instead of cutting, there's a lot of like camera turning.
Yeah, like they don't cut to another shot; they literally turn to it
very quickly.
Yeah, but there's also some funny bits, like how since they can't just pull swords out of nowhere, like and they do in the play, they literally pull out guns called sword, and they're like these chromed out, engraved. Like, you wouldn't find this in, like, a gun store.
Exactly. And some of the guns, if you look close enough, it says sword right on it.
Actually, it's not even if you look close enough. What they did was they just zoomed in on it, so you know.
Yeah, it's like...
Each time they mentioned it.
Or, to mention later, I'll mention it when we get there. Towards the end of the movie.
So basically, well, let's not mention this towards the end. This is funny. Mercutio, you know how earlier I said he was entertaining? Him and Benvolio recklessly play with guns on the beach.
And they're like spitting in all that crap.
They're all like, someone could get seriously hurt by this. And it's kind of funny to watch.
Because they're like waving the gun around and it's like...
See what I mean? Anyways, the movie actually changes a lot from the play. Mm-hmm. Like,
especially near the end, keep in mind this is a spoiler warning. Lady Capulet and Paris and I think there's a couple others.
No, just Lady Capulet and Paris are still alive.
Yeah, well in the play they actually just mention them dying, which I feel is late.
Paris gets killed by Romeo and Lady Capulet, not Capulet, Montague. She dies on her own. Anyways, there's some other things about the movie that I like. Like, there's some good changes, like Sir Capulet's a drunk. So that makes all his weird changes in
like
the movie.
Yelling at Juliet later in the movie less sudden than the play makes it a lot more unnatural. Like, feels better suited for the character.
So anyways, my opinion on the movie is the ending's a little disappointing for me after reading the play, but I still think it's a good movie, and definitely Baz Luhrmann deserves having it, win awards and stuff.
Yeah. What do you want to give for the score? I'm gonna give it 8.
Yeah,
out of 10.
Yep, 8 out of 10. It's good.
Good movie. Pretty good, entertaining.
Yeah.
You should watch it.
It's funny at points.
Pretty funny. Mercutio, as you said earlier, is pretty entertaining.
My only complaint is that it's a little hard to follow at points.
Although the acting helps with the Shakespearean English quite a bit, so it's
Which
you don't understand what they're saying, you know what they're doing.
which Lurhman actually wanted to keep in the movie, the Shakespeare in English.
Yes, because originally the studio was like, hey, how about we, translate this to modern English? And he was like, no, we're keeping it Shakespearean, help with the flavor and the taste of the movie.
Okay, so before we end this, there might be some bloopers from the review, depending on whether we want to put them in or not.
Ah, frick, cut.
Draw your sword!
Doth thou challenge me?
Draw your sword!
Doth thou challenge me? No. Screwed it up.
Do it again.
Are you gonna say it? Alright, that's it, come here. Come here, you big...
Huh. Sounds like the cops with the cop on. I hope he's not nearby.
Better get collapsed!